America, when you're wrong is when you get praised. You are in trouble because you're right, buddy.
And you know why else I'm in trouble? They don't like me. I'm not a member of the club. You know, maybe if my name wasn't Celente, maybe they don't like, you know, maybe I should we be wearing Brooks Brothers than maybe Gambino and Banana label, you know? Maybe that's the way they think of it. Because none of them, not one of them, has the manhood to bring me on and say that I was right. And I'll put my track record up against anyone's. There's no one, and I'm not bragging about this. I'm at it for 30 years. Yes, some people get some of the things right in different fields. But I have to say, and you read our publication, nobody's been right as much as we have in as wide variety.
No, you're right. I mean, you predicted, I remember interviewing you with some of the first times I interviewed you about 4 years ago, and you predicted there'd be a grassroots tax revolt against big government. You didn't call it Tea Party. That happened. I mean, right down the line, and that's why I interview you. That's why I research it. I mean, all the guests I have on, I only have maybe 10 regular guests. They're people that are over and over and over again right. Ron Paul, Dr. Paul Craig Roberts, yourself, Dr. Webster Tarpley, because you're all going off the same historical research. And again, the mainstream media could be doing this too. They consciously are lying. Why are they consciously deceiving people and demonizing gold while the richest families in the world are busy buying it up and hoarding it, Gerald?
It's simple. They're prostitutes. NBC, CBS, ABC, NPR, those are the houses of prostitution. It's as simple as, no, it's as simple as that. As you saw the Anthony Frater piece that he did for us. That's all they are. They pleasure the politicians. Watch them. Look at their behavior. Look at them suck up and bow down. You know, it's remarkable. So anyway, here is a trend alert, and I'm saying this because you've heard my saying over the year. Gerald Celente's GC's 3 Gs. Guns, gold, and a getaway plan. This is serious what's happening. But here's what that little guy over there at the White House prostitute, what's his name, James Carney, perfect name, the press guy. Carney, by the way, that's the slang word for carnival man. Here's what he said in relationship to today's 500-plus Dow fall-off. There's no question that this economy has faced headwinds this year, a variety of them, including the earthquake and tsunami in Japan. The increase in oil prices, energy prices, the result from the unrest in the Arab world, and the situation in Europe also. So our focus has to be on the things that we control, which is to take the necessary measures. I don't have a specific reaction to the market. Markets go up and down. Brilliant. No, this has nothing to do with the tsunami. It has nothing to do with the revolts in the Middle East. It has almost nothing to do with oil prices. It has to do with the Federal Reserve and the Wall Street gang robbing America right in front of our eyes. It has to do with stimulus. It has to do with TARP. It has to do with the killing of the Glass-Steagall Act. It has to do with all of these measures. Hey, remember those shovel-ready jobs, Mr. Carney? Where are those? Hey, how about this one? How about the prostitutes calling out Joe Biden? How about him last year saying that we were going to have the recovery, the summer recovery of 2010, and 500,000 jobs would be created a month? They created 18,000 last month. Why aren't the prostitutes calling him out? Why aren't they calling Bernanke out? Why aren't they calling Obama out and his economic team? Remember the brilliant Larry Summers? They told us that we were going to have an unemployment rate in 2010 at 7.2%. Not one of them calls them out.
Well, Gerald, that's what's insane about this, is that I said on record, all the other economists we talked to, you said on record, this is going to create a black hole of debt. Things are only going to get worse now. We're only giving the money to the bankers. We've got to pay taxes for the bailout money. We haven't left the recession. It's going into a depression. And
it's in a depression.
And
It's in a
Obama
depression.
said, exactly, we're in a depression, and we've been in at least for a year or longer. And Obama said it's hope and change, free chicken in every pot. Now he says, oh, sacrifice, chip in, but not the big bankers who are making record bonuses and profits while laying off their customer service people, while cutting their actual staff. I mean, they have known what they were going to do. So this is what I want to get into now with you. You've been right. You've been accurate with great precision. We appreciate you joining us here. So while we're talking to the Trends Research Oracle, tell us the trends that are coming next in the economy, militarily, socially. You predicted massive crime increases. Now we learn Austin's had a 30+% crime increase in a year. I'm seeing neighbors' houses get robbed. Coffee shops I go to have their doors jerked off by trucks and everything stolen. I mean, I'm starting to live in a Mad Max scenario. The crime is exploding, but just like they say we're not in a recession or depression, they tell me crime's down, Gerald. They tell me the sky is red and up is down. So what are the new trends? You've predicted what would come. What's coming next?
Get ready for the collapse. We're going to go into a horrible winter. There's no way out of it. And we're really urging people to pull in very tightly and also hang around like-minded people. Start putting your brains together. Try to help each other out.
That's what I say. Having friends that are awake is more valuable than even gold, guns, and food. Do you agree?
I do. And it's very important to get around those kind of people. And as I've said before, and I mean this sincerely, the strong are going to survive. And when I mean strong, it's not the body strong only. It's mental and spiritual. And I mean that in the fullest sense. And to really get in shape spiritually, emotionally, and physically, because if you're ruled by fear, you lose. And by the way, very good point to make. And everybody can see this. As you know, I'm a close combat practitioner. I work out with attackproof.com guys. Brad Steiner, John Perkins. And when you watch a video that will tell you it speaks a million words, and that's the one of the richest men in the world, Rupert Murdoch, getting hit by a foam pie at the hearing in UK. He froze. And his little boy over there, James, the billionaire in waiting, he froze. The moral of the story is billions of dollars won't buy you a pair of cojones.
Yeah, they should have exploded into action. You hit me, I'm going to attack you instantly.
You got it. And then they talk about his wife slapping the guy. You watch that video, and I work with women that are real fighters. This woman went over. She didn't slap that guy. She was totally off balance and hit the ground and took the woman in front of her down. What we're saying is...
Well, Gerald, I don't claim I'm a tough guy. I don't claim I'm a tough guy, but I grew up in Dallas and got the hell beaten out of me many times. And I'll tell you, getting off the school bus and having 3 or 4 bullies beat me up when I was 10, 11, 12 is what made me what I am today. And I'm not Mr. Tough Guy. But if somebody starts something, I go into action immediately. And it's this lackadaisical attitude. You just hit it, not just of the general public, but the elite, this laying down, waiting for somebody else. You just said it. We should economically, societally, politically, we should be more explosive. We should be more proactive. I mean, continue, because I've been interrupting. Continue.
Yeah, and so anyway, that's a very important message, because when I say getting in shape physically, emotionally, and spiritually, it really means getting that fight back into you. Because any self-respecting adult that listens to a little carnival man like Carney, or sees Obama do his, this guy can't talk without a teleprompter. They're setting him out in the White House lawns now on these big crates and tables, these huge screens. Pretty soon they're going to have apps for guys to pick up chicks. They're going to be so lame from watching their leaders that can't speak spontaneously and have no courage. So courage, passion, respect, and self-respect are going to be very essential elements in this coming tough times. And I just want to read to you one little paragraph here that we said, and I mentioned this about the summer, and I'm saying this again because it's very important that people understand this. The moral of this story, this was the trend alert we put out that the collapse was coming, is not to let your mind take a summer vacation. Conditions are rapidly deteriorating, and it is imperative to remain on high alert. Another violent financial episode is looming. It may be triggered by economics, e.g. defaults, debt crisis, contagion in Europe, a crashing U.S. dollar, etc. What we're telling people is to stay on alert. You're always on yellow alert. Don't be white. Always be alert. Start learning everything you can right now.
Don't be a passive jellyfish.
Exactly.
And that's what America was all about, being self-sufficient, aware, and standing up for yourself. Gerald, continuing, any other future trends you see unfolding? And then I've got a few news items I want to throw at you, and also want to talk about an idea you've got about basically the republic has been overtaken, and the idea you've got about direct democracy. But first, any other trends?
Yes, and unfortunately, Alex, they're going to lead us to war. Fake flag are real, and I say fake flag without being a conspiracy theorist, because after all, remember that wonderful Vietnam War that cost us some 60,000 U.S. soldiers?
Yes.
Killed over 1 million Vietnamese, destroyed their country, and wounded another 300,000 plus all the uncounted Americans that have been mentally wounded from a Gulf of Tonkin incident that never happened? Do you remember the Iraq War that began on March 18th? March 18th, a day that Barack Obama took us to war this year against Libya. The war that we waged because Saddam Hussein...
Hold on, he says it's not a war, it's a kinetic action.
Well, no, the Bush one.
Yeah, but I'm being sarcastic,
weapons of mass destruction and ties to Al-Qaeda. Yes, this is a kinetic action that was going to end in days and not weeks. They're going to take us to war. They're doing it, it's set up. And that's what we're most concerned about. That is our major concern, because the economies are collapsing. And by the way, also, I want to repeat this, and I want everyone to listen carefully. Go back to 1933. They called a bank holiday in a time of an economic crisis, right after FDR got elected. Holiday. You can't get your money out of the banks. They devalued your dollar. They made, you know the story, Alex. They made you sell all your gold back, because in those days the dollar was pegged to gold. They made the people sell it back to the government at $20.62 an ounce, or thereabouts. Right after they thought they got all the gold in, they repegged the price of gold to $35 an ounce, which meant that you just lost 40% of your dough. They're going to do it again. I believe there's going to be an economic 9/11. The last time they closed the Wall Street down, you couldn't cash out CDs. I know, I tried, couldn't do it. This time they're going to close down the banks. We have an emergency. It was caused by, you know what was caused by? They're going to blame the people that are buying gold.
And by the way, we're already seeing that. They're already blaming the Tea Party for not wanting to increase spending for what's happening. We saw that coming. And I want to tell you something. On both sides of my family, no one turned their gold in. On my mom's side of the family, my mother's father's father, my great-grandfather, he refused to turn his gold in and said, let him come, and didn't. And then during the Depression, and when it ended, he was basically set back up in business when hardly anybody else was. So I'll say it right now. I bought my gold. I paid taxes on the money. It's mine, and I'm going to say publicly, if a bunch of fat cat criminal bankers tell me to turn my gold in because I was right and bought it when it was $300, $400, $500 an ounce, I'm not turning it in. And this is a public pledge. I think everybody should say, hell or high water, I'm not turning it in. What do you say?
I'm with you. I'm with you. They're not going to take it from me. It's not going to happen.
God bless you.
And they're not going to be able to get their hands on it anyway, Uncle Sam.
Exactly.
Yeah, grab this. And the other thing, too, I have to tell you, on my side of the family, my grandfather was an Italian immigrant, and he was very proud to be an American. So when it happened, my father, may his soul rest in peace, said to my grandfather, My father was a wise man. He said, Pop,